Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Capturing the game within the game. I'm your host, Brady Spenfelder, and I'm joined with my co host, Desmond Jones. Today, we have the opportunity of speaking with a field basketball coach, Izzat Ismail. Welcome to the podcast, Izzat.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank
you're welcome. Just tell us a little bit of background about yourself so people listening and viewing here can learn a little bit more about you.
I'm Izzat, as you said. I'm a Lebanese basketball coach. I've been coaching basketball since 2010. I've, I've coached in different countries, in my country in Lebanon, in Egypt, and now I'm in Tunisia. My career was focused on the women's team and on youth teams. Actually, I'm coaching a senior team here in Tunisia, ESCB. We're competing on the national championship. We'll compete on the Arab Championship and African Championship. In parallel, I work as sport for development consultant. I worked for so many local and international NGOs who used to work as sport for development, and I've been a project manager for several local and international sports projects.
Wow. What got you into coaching back in 2010?
Honestly, usually when you start your career, most of the coaches start as players or as managers or in this way. When I was young in school, since I was young, I used to say I want to be a coach when I grow up. I want to be a basketball coach, not a player. I want to be a coach. And at 16, I got scholarship in the school to play with the basketball team of the school. And after 2 or 3 months, I still remember the physical education teacher. He came to me and said, Azat, look, you're coachable. And we never had a women's team in our school. And we are looking to have a women's team for the first time ever. And I think you can take care of this team as a student coach. I said, me? He said, yeah, you. So I was 16. I start like it was like a joke at the beginning. And then we reach the final suddenly. Okay, then I grow up. I go to the college. In college, I did my study in business. Then I continue my study in basketball coaching in Lithuania. And I start coaching youth teams under 10, under 12, under 14, under 16, in different age categories. And I got the spot of coaching for the senior team suddenly. I was the coach of youth, and then the coach decided to leave. They said, you're gonna lead the team, the women's team. I said, I've never worked in women and I prefer to continue my career with youth or in men's basketball. He said, we need you for this few months. We won the championship and then we need you another season. I said, okay, but this is the last season. I want to continue my career in men's basketball. And we won the first division championship and I stayed in this sector and I started moving from a country to another in women's team.
Dude, that's awesome. Well, congrats on the championships that you won thus far, and I know you're getting ready to compete with, within for another championship. I was gonna ask you, so like, what's some of the differences between coaches and the men and the women that you had to kind of learn or kind of prepare for?
Yeah. There's a big difference between men's and women in basketball. Look, basketball is basketball, but in men's basketball, you can take into consideration that you have so many options than women's basketball. So, for example, physically, men's basketball are way better. Physically, you can control the physical conditioning of men's more than women. And women, you should take into consideration. And men's, you can play with a rotation of 7 or 8 players. And women, you should have a rotation of 10 players in order to go far because, you never know how, when this girl will get her period, the other will get another one, the third one will be six. Sometimes you can have 4, 5, 6 players in the same day and you have an important game. So you should have a good backups. And even in planning and preparing, girls are more emotional. But we should take into consideration that girls are fast learners and more committed and dedicated. This is I'm talking about personal experience. Sometimes than men, because but the lack is between men and basketball on court is the creativity. Women start to implement what the coach is asking for. They play by book from times to other. So the level of creativity is not that high. That doesn't mean they are not creative. They are, but they try to implement the plan by book. Okay, knowing that in basketball you can see more creativity on court, you can see more individual decisions, and the decision in men's basketball are faster and quicker than women's basketball.
No, that's cool. Is there with the creativity, is that one thing that's I mean, if you explain it's kind of different, but is there like a challenge with that within between the men's side and the women's side of like men being more creative sometimes with doing some plays than what the women are, as you said, following by the books?
Yeah, it's challenging for sure. That's why and you should start as a coach to prepare your team from the practice before arriving to game situation. For this reason, I'm a big fan of organized freedom on court. So I learned that I didn't start in this way. I start by giving some set offense. Should not break the set offense. You should follow the set. After time, I saw that no, if I oblige my players to be committed and to play by book and to play only to continue this set or this play, we are going to fail and you finish your game with 50 55 points. Then with the time you start by making some freedom organized, give and go, pass cut replace, quick handoff, quick screening the screener's action, ram screens, just the fundamentals but organized and structured. And it depends, every set offense should depend on the positioning of our teammates on offense. So in this way you can organize your offense more and you can work on investing in the talent and the potential that you have in your team, and taking into consideration that girls can succeed more in freedom basketball than men's, because in girls you will not see the dunks, the slam dunks, the alley-oops, blah blah blah. You will not see that in girls. That there you have two, three players around the world who can do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you cannot see it. So that's why in freedom you can see an amazing basketball. What I'm saying is a personal point of view. We cannot generalize it. It's our personal point of view, and I learned it through the time. And this is what I'm trying to do now or to implement now in Tunisia.
Nah, that's. I mean, I'm taking everything in because like you're coaching me now, so that's what it
Yes.
feels like right now. But so as far as like the creativity for the woman, like what I mean, I don't know if you can answer this or not, or but what's some of the inspirations for the young women that are aspiring to be basketball players? Like who are they watching or to kind of like get the creativity from? Like I know, like for me, when it comes to dribbling, I always love Kyrie. Kyrie Irving from the
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nets. Like his
Yeah.
handles are, all time one of the greatest. But I'm just wondering, like, who do the women that you coach up? Who do they look forward to, or look up, or maybe go to YouTube and go find out, how they do certain moves or whatnot.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of talented, creative, and exceptional women's basketball players. And we can take into consideration, I prefer not to nominate, but if you look, for example, recently, I want to talk about the last season of the WNBA, for example. You can see an exceptional performance from most of the women's team. You can see an amazing level, and you can start seeing a big improvement and more highlighting and more investment in women's basketball. It you should not select one or two players. The best player is a combination of different players. The best player is the best decision maker on court. This is the best player. If you want to go to Europe, for example, you can see, for example, Ekaterinburg, the Russian team, and Fenerbahce, how are they playing an amazing and exceptional basketball. You can go now, you can see the signing that they are doing, the WNBA teams, amazing. Honestly, I'm a big fan of Atlanta Dream, so
Okay.
I watch most of the games of Atlanta. I'm in love with Courtney Williams, her style, Shakina Strickland. I love her style. Monique Billings also. So I love these players and I watch them and I follow them. And I like the way that they play. I like the will and the way that they perform on court. They are strong mental, and for every girl, for every young girl who wants to go far like this girl, that these girls, she should convince herself and she should say for herself on daily basis, I can and I will. I can and I will. And keep saying it until you believe it. You should keep saying it. I can and I will. I can, I will. One day I will be there. One day I will be there. But you should implement what you're saying. Convince yourself mentally that you have the ability to do that. Go on court and work hard and be the hardest player in your area and your team in order to go far. You should give your 1000% in order to go far.
Yeah, with that, with what you just said and everything like that, is there, from watching the WNBA here in the States, is there any, like the players you watch, anything you've taken from them and try to translate it into the girls that you're coaching over there?
Yeah, sure. Uh, by the way, for example, if you see the big difference in the Middle East basketball, and for example, we were to talk about WNBA teams, most of the WNBA teams, they like the isolation plays, five out, give and go, pick and roll, four out, one in, a quick rhythm, quick plays on offense. If you come here to the Middle East, you can see a different type of play most of the teams. They want to play the 24-second. They want to play the set offense. Most of the team, they play the 2-3 zone defense, blah, 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 blah. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this. I like quick plays, early transition offense, quick ball movements, quick rotations. So if you keep watching these teams, you will learn from them on daily basis. You are a coach, you want to improve, you should learn on daily basis. You can learn from a youth player as you can learn from WNBA players. Personally, I watch them because I enjoy seeing them playing. I enjoy their performance on court. And I enjoy the rotation, the communication, the chemistry between these players, especially Courtney Shakina. They used to play in Connecticut together. They came to the Atlanta last year together. So I love seeing these players in action. And as I told you, we learn from these players. We learn from their performance, and we should, if we want to improve, we should keep following the high level games, and we should watch the high level games. By the way, here there's 5 hours different between here and the States. So, for example, when the WNBA players play, it's midnight here or more. Sometimes I'm not able to watch the game. I record them in order to watch them second days. So it's amazing. We should keep learning in order to going up and to go to perform better.
Yeah, man. I mean, you hit the nail on the noggin with that. It's something that my wife always constantly does. Is she always constantly learning. I'm always trying to constantly learn as well, but she may be a little bit more dedicated to a lot of things than I am. But
Yeah.
that goes to your point about dedication for as far as women and men. Earlier, I feel as though that a lot of women are dedicated to their crafts once they're really into it. And I wish that I kind of I'm trying to take some of that from my wife, but it hasn't been working out too well. But I love the WNBA game. I'm starting to grow more and more in tune with it right now. It
Yeah.
wasn't really until like it wasn't really until me and my wife started going to WNBA games. She was, of course, she was a bigger fan in the W than I was, but so she kind of helped groom my fandom in the
Yeah.
WNBA, and especially in college sports. So I remember I got a chance to watch Maya Moore hit the game winning shot over the Indiana Fever
Oh,
to put them up like 2-1 going back to Minnesota. It was so crazy. So and just be able to record that moment and have that, it was, I forever hold on to that. So now every year, what we try to do, we always try to get to a WNBA game. Of course, last year with COVID, we couldn't do that, but hopefully, going into this season, we can do that.
hopefully. In general, I do believe that if we give the same care and attention and advertising for women's basketball, they
Yeah,
have the ability to show the same image of men's teams. That's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I definitely agree. What's your so how long? Or I was gonna say how long? Like, what's your like? next step that you want to do as far as coaching? Like, I feel as though you've been coaching at this particular level for a while. Is there like another level that you want to reach when as far as coaching, or you're okay with doing what you're currently doing?
We should always keep aiming high, and we should always keep thinking of going far. Honestly, I came to Tunisia in order to win this championship with my team now. My team
Yeah.
won the championship, the last championship in 2008.
Hmm.
Now we are competing on the playoffs and we have a big chance to win the championship. I'm very well surrounded. I am working with professional management, with professional people. The level of professionalism is very high here, especially with the team that I'm working with. And the good thing that my team is going to organize and to host the African Championship in October. So I've never been in the African Championship. So this is the main reason that she pushed me to be here in Tunisia. I want to compete on the African Championship and hopefully that we'll be able to win the title together. So, but after Africa, of course, I'm willing to go far, and I always aim to go to the States or to Europe. I know that, but we should remember that there is 100,000 coaches looking for
Yeah.
10,000 opportunities.
Yeah.
So we should aim high. We should work on ourselves, but we should be also satisfied and thanks God for what we have because especially after COVID now and after the health situation, a lot of coaches and players didn't find a job or a good job the past season.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of COVID and everything, how is that over there for you? How's that affected the teams and the clubs and the just the play over there? How's that affected that?
Honestly, it was bad, like everywhere around the world. I start my season in Lebanon before coming to Tunisia. I signed with Beirut Club, my home, my family. I worked with this team 4 seasons, sorry. We had 4 seasons, 4 exceptional season with zero loss. So, and then I renewed with them this season, and then the COVID start, and we postponed the championship, and then we postponed it again, and then the lockdown, and then we cannot play after the vaccine, blah blah blah, like everybody around the world, and the league stopped. And I received this offer here in Tunisia. I said, the game is it's not only our hobby, it's our job. We get money from it, so we should find work. So I get this vacancy here in Tunisia, and I left Lebanon. They will start in 20th of April, the league. I wish them the best of luck. I came here, and here the country was in lockdown. Now we came back on court. We are trying to take all the precautionary measures. We are playing without fans. It's not easy, honestly. Uh, but at the end, we should adapt. It's a crisis, but this crisis happened. We have two options. First option to stay and to look out this crisis. Second option to find a way to adapt. When there is a will, there is a way. So we have, and which is the good thing here in Tunisia that the federation have the will to grow up and to work and to develop the league, which is great. They are going to host the NBA African League also for men's basketball here in Tunisia. So they have good planners. So they always work on finding solutions for the challenges that they are facing. So it affects for sure. In Lebanon, 1 year, women's and men's are not playing without basketball. Imagine gyms are closing, stadiums are closing, everything was closing. It's very bad, but no other options. Maybe we have another options, but I'm not the decision maker to find the option.
Yeah, I know for sure here. We with basketball and everything, sports started up. There were no fans allowing. So I was just gonna ask you personally, since you've been playing games without fans, how is that atmosphere like going into a game and knowing that there's really no fans there? How has that changed the perception of the game and how the players like deal with it? And how does like even coaching? How does that deal with this since there's no fans? They can hear everything you're saying to the players. How has that
Yeah,
changed anything?
it's it's weird to go on court without fans, especially if I want to talk about the Tunisian leagues. You have 5, 6 teams, they have big fans. So if you open the door, you can have at least 10,000 fans on court for women's basketball. So there's a people are very addicted to their teams because every team represents a region here. So people are addicted to their teams. So you go on court without noise, without voices, without people shouting. At the beginning, it's weird, critical. You don't have the home court advantage when the team opponent came to join you. Your fans start putting pressure on the opponent. You don't have this. But as I told you, we should adapt with the situation, and we should thank God that we get the chance to play. We are playing, and this is the most important thing. The game is back. We are playing. We are trying to give our best. I know having fans on court is something important, but if the federation is not didn't give the permission, we should adapt with it. But in my opinion, we can start on finding solution. For example, you can have one seat, then five, 6 seats empty, seventh seat, another fan can sit. We can start having or looking for options if we want.
Yeah, that's how it was for the championship game of the NCAA women's side. They have a section off where it was like two seats
Yeah, I
empty,
saw it.
yeah, empty, and then like another two or four seats. So everything was like when you go to buy your tickets, everything was grouped either by twos or by fours. So
Yeah,
if it was three of you guys, then you would
yeah,
be forced to buy four tickets. So you
yeah.
just got, you have to figure out what you want to do with the extra ticket. Um, so that's how it was. So I mean, we felt when me and my wife went, we felt safe and we was still able to enjoy it. I felt like the students really appreciated having fans because they can look up and maybe see the family members
Sure.
or see the family before the game or after the game, and just to see fans rooting for them, cheer with them, especially since they
Yeah.
haven't had that over a past year, with COVID and stuff. So I find it interesting. One thing I'm curious about was, how do we personally tune in and watch the overseas games, especially like any overseas women basketball or just either overseas men's basketball? Like how can we watch you in action?
Okay. Do you mean why I'm curious or how I watch the games overseas? You mean or
No, like for me, like so since like over us in America, how can we tune in and watch your games?
yeah?
Like,
Okay.
yeah,
Actually, women's basketball here are not broadcasted on TV,
okay,
but you can see the finals only, I think, on TV. They are broadcasted on the Facebook page of the clubs. So if the game is on our home court, my team will go live on Facebook to broadcast the game. If the game is we are going to play, let's say, in another area here in Tunisia, the
hmm,
opponent will broadcast. It's on Facebook only, Facebook
okay.
live. So you can check. I can send you the name of the page of my team. We have a game next week on Saturday, quarterfinal of the cup. You can watch it.
No, that'd be interesting. Yeah, you can definitely send it over, and we can definitely give that a look and watch it for you. But going back to when you first started coaching, we're going back a bit. But what was like the challenges being so young and getting thrown into coaching in a sense? How is that, and how were you able to overcome those struggles and to get to where you are at now?
It's not easy. Now I'm 32 years old. I start coaching as I was 20. I went to a first division team. I
Wow.
was 23. And players are older than me, all of them. But at the end, once you master what you're doing and you are convinced of what you're doing and you're doing your job for a purpose and you're doing your job in a good way, you oblige the players to follow you and to guide you. So age is just a number. Your age is your age in work, not the age, the number one, your age in the life. So your age is your age in work. So once you start a lead on court And once you start to uh, impose or to show your philosophy and your strategy and your way of working, and you convince your team with the results, definitely you will get the respect. It wasn't easy at all at the beginning. I faced so many challenges, and every time a team abroad look for me, okay, they heard, for example, this coach won the Arab Championship 2019, and he won the Lebanese Championship, and he went to Egypt, he won all this game, blah blah blah. Okay, we want to sign him. Once they see my age, but he's very young. Yeah, he's young, but he's the same person who did that. So same person. Every time, even when I came to Tunisia, players start to ask the manager, but he's younger than us. He's young. They said, yeah, but this is the one that you know and you heard about him. This is the one. He's young, but that's it. Once you start working, I've never, honestly, to be honest, I've never find a big issue. It was in my first season only between me and myself, but never directly with the players. So it's normal. Age, it's just a number. And I don't believe that if you are old, it means you're a good coach. If you are young or you're a bad coach. No, it depends. Sometimes you grow up and you grow up and you grow up and you save the same mistakes, same like a tree. Once the tree start to grow up, it should take a side when she's growing up, and you left it and you didn't take into consideration that you should, let's say, take it back and putting the right position for the tree. She will grow up in this way, in a bad way, in a wrong way. Same like a coach. If you took the bad habits with you and you grew up with these bad habits, you will not be able to change it. So, as I said, age is just a number. We should be convinced that we are a student of this game and we will be learning and learning and we'll keep learning on daily basis from this game till the last moment for us on court.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's one thing I didn't know. Good that you said that for people listening, and just for me and Desmond here listening to you, that we're learning from you and the inspiration you're giving to us today. Another question to bring in is if you knew what you knew now, like if you knew the stuff you know now today about coaching, would you have done anything differently when you first got into coaching?
No, not at all. Because I enjoyed the lesson that I learned in my life. I learned so many lessons. Today I learned a big lesson. Today I lost. We were we had a game, we lost, and I learned. I learned because it was my first loss since 2017. So I lost the game today, and I find that I don't have the skills to control my emotions and my feelings when I lose. It means a long time. I lost. We lost by 3 points. I felt that I missed the emotional intelligence, knowing that I have the ideas, but I'm not able to implement it on myself. I left the court. I went to the lockers without talking with my teams. I felt bad. When I came back home, I said, I give the assessment. I said, at the end, basketball is not football. There is no equality. You're going to win or you're going to lose. There is no tie game, winning or loser. You cannot win the whole time and you cannot lose the whole time. Deep inside, I know that this loss will come back, will arrive. There will be a day that I'm going to lose. And thanks God it's before the playoffs at this moment. We are in the playoffs already. But it was a big lesson for me. So I start working to convince myself that I should accept the result and I should manage and control my emotions after such a similar result. And I make a great assessment. I try to make a great assessment for what I did, for my reactions, for dealing with the last seconds of the game, uh, and how I can control my emotions better in the coming games.
Wow, that's insane. The first loss in 4 years.
Uh,
That's just insane, man. I wish I could say I could wish I had a record like that. My high school team when I was playing basketball, we lost a lot of games, and it was we never. And the only period of time in my life where we went undefeated for almost 2 years was
Yeah.
when I was in grammar school. So this is my eighth grade, my seventh grade year and eighth grade year before going into high school. That was the last time I was even had an ounce of undefeatedness in my bones.
But by the way, in high school and in schools, especially grade seventh and eighth, the win is not the final result.
Yeah,
Sometimes you can win by result, but the most important thing is to win players and good people. So the big win in basketball, especially in schools, is to promote the right basketball values and to promote the right life skills.
yeah,
So your players should be able to work under pressure. Your players should be able to find a problem for the issues. Your players should be able to adapt with several situations. They should be able to communicate in a good way, even under pressure. They should be
hmm,
able to believe in their teammates and to work with a team together. And they should get the ability to accept each other and to coordinate with each other and to support each other, especially when they are down. In schools and in youth basketball, these are the big lessons and the win. If we want to win in high schools and in schools, I do think we should win the values and the right development. Sometimes you can win as a team. You can see several teams in youth basketball. They are winning championships and they are bringing a lot of titles. But at the end, you cannot find more than one or two players who are going far and going abroad. At the end, not all the school players are going to be professional. Some of them, maybe 2% or 5% maximum, they are going to be professionals. But others, they are going to the work sector. They should have and they should take with them the sports values and they should be the sports ambassadors in life. And this is what we need in this world. We need people who believe in sportsmanship, believe in the sports value, to promote it in a good way, to believe in the equity, to believe in the teamwork, to believe in the respect, to believe in communicating in a good way, to believe in equal opportunities. And when you learn this in school, in basketball, in sports, any kind of sports, once you convince your teammate that he's not the only scorer in the team, you can score and you can score and you can take this attempt and you can take this attempt. You start to promote the equality in this small drills or small habits or small lessons. This is what we need from schools and high schools and all around the world. And it's challenging for coaches, but they should start to convince themselves and to guide their objectives in youth basketball through this way. Look at our world. We need a lot of sports people to guide this world.
no, I think I could like just hearing you talk. I see all of the qualities of why you're such a good coach.
Oh,
You know,
thank you.
I hear it. I'm like, damn, how come I couldn't have you as a coach like 10, 15 years ago? Maybe I would have went further because I would have learned just I would learn more about the game, but then also would have learned more about just life itself and just take some of those values with me. So I've just like I said, just talking with you, man. I feel like you're just an awesome coach.
Thank you.
Probably a very fierce competitor as well. You
Thank you.
don't like to lose, and you know you said that. I could tell because your emotions. You mentioned that, so I can
Yeah.
only imagine. So you know, definitely kudos to you, your team, and you know, I'm definitely wishing you guys best of luck when you guys play. On is it tomorrow?
No, it's next Saturday.
Next Saturday. So yeah,
Yeah.
at the time this I record this podcast, because we record when the podcast come out, it'll be later. But next Saturday they referring to is April the 24th.
Yeah.
So definitely wish you best of luck with that.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
what I'm trying to think about. So what for your offensive philosophies? Has do you feel as though like the 3 pointers has affected the game tremendously, or has it changed the way that you've go about coaching your players right now, or you still kind of, I won't say old school, but do you? How has like the 3 point shot affect your game or affect the way
Okay,
that you coach or look at things?
okay. Stephen Curry destroyed the board. Honestly, all of the players around the world, they want to be Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
So I want to give you a small example about today's game. We were down by three. We have 20 seconds. I see one of the player dribbling, taking a fadeaway shot from, you can say, from the half court, I think. I was looking at the scoreboard and I was looking at her. I said, "Hey, Stephen Curry, who do you think you are?" I said, "I felt the ball on the half court." She felt the ball. Okay, but 3 points is something that help people or help teams to how in promoting the game, and it's a type of show. But if you want to be realistic, you can see this big amount of 3 points in NBA or in high level of your league teams. Personally, I'm not against any open shot. Whenever you have an open shot, you are obliged to take it because in life you get a lot of opportunities and you should benefit from it. You are playing in a senior level now. You get open, you should take your shots. From 3 points, from mid range, from inside, you should take your shot. But what I prefer to do every time, I prefer to give every time two options for my players to pass the ball. I always work on having two options, inside or outside option, inside or outside option. So because you cannot focus on 3 points. 3 points cannot win a game, but you should make a balance between the inside and outside game. If you are focusing only on the outside game, you will not win a game. You can win one game, two games, but you will arrive at some points, you will not succeed and you will not score. So, inside game, it's not about old school or new school. Inside game is a priority in basketball because it's the easiest way to score. And we should believe that this is the easiest way to score. But even once you go, the ball go inside your opponent back, you should start and to learn how to kick out the ball, to share the ball with your teammate. You should give the freedom, as I said before, for your player. You should know, they should know how to take the right decision and to benefit from every option. But you should not eliminate the options or to focus on one option. The inside and the outside games complete each other. You cannot play basketball without a ball, okay, or without a rim.
It's true.
So same, you cannot play basketball from 3 points, and you cannot play basketball only from 2 points. That's why we have the 3 points rules and the 2 points rules. So we are obliged from time to other to play from inside. Modern basketball, you cannot see it everywhere around the world. You cannot see Anthony Davis all around the world. You cannot see that. So that's why you cannot find the five playing from outside everywhere.
Yeah.
Till now, you can find the classical post player who should receive the ball inside, who should post, who should play one on one, who should skip the ball, high low players. This option is still available in basketball. But again, it depends on the element that you have in your team
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me talking with you, you sound like you're the type of coach like you don't necessarily stick to a system. You do what's best for your players.
No, no, I'm not a big fan of that. We have a special situations, but
Yeah.
what I always work on is the player who's on this position, he will do that, not you.
Okay.
Because if you start to nominate people by their name, this is my opinion, you will start to create a negative vibes in the team. Indirectly, girls they will start to say why he's insisting on giving her the decisions every time, not me. And even if she missed, they will not support her, even if they show you that they are supporting her. Deep inside, they are convinced if they took this chance, they can do it. At the end, all of them, they are senior player and they are playing on a professional level. So we should have equity and chances. And here we go back to equity and giving similar opportunities. If they don't deserve this opportunity, don't sign them from the beginning. So don't bring them to your team. If they deserve it, you decide to bring them to the team as a coach or as team manager. You bring them to the team. So it means you believe in them. You should give them the same opportunity. You don't, as I said, you don't have LeBron, Stephen, uh, Anthony all around the world. No,
Yeah.
it's in it's in this exceptional, amazing league, the NBA. Otherwise, you cannot see that. For this reason, you should create equal, or you should promote the equal opportunities for all the players. Sometimes your best player might be in a bad day.
Yeah.
She might be sick, for example. She might get her period before the game.
Yeah.
What you will do? You get luck. You should have other options, and these
Yeah.
options should be ready mentally and physically to play,
Yeah.
especially mentally.
Yeah. Next man up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of concludes our interview portion of the podcast. So now we're gonna go into our rapid fire segment where we kind of ask you like either or questions, and
Okay.
just a game is so the name of our podcast is the game within the game. So this is a game that me and Brady play amongst each other. We have these we ask these simple questions, and we're either on one side or sometimes we're on the same side, or sometimes
Okay.
we're not we don't see eye to eye. So
Okay.
um my question for you, since you're a big WNBA fan, so who do you prefer, Sue Bird or Deanna Taurasi?
I Diana Torres.
Okay, the logo herself. I like that answer. I'm picking Diana too. I got a chance to see her play, and the level of trash talk that she does on the court is amazing to me.
Yeah. Uh, Literally, I couldn't find any player or any woman player who have the ability or who have the character of Diana on court.
Yeah.
Her presence on court is exceptional. Even if she didn't receive the ball, she's able to put positive or give a good boosting or positive boosting for her teammates
Hmm.
indirectly. Her presence will take attention every time. She has an exceptional presence on court. I've never saw that, honestly. That's why Subert is a big player. I'm a big fan of her for sure. But the presence of Diana on court is not to compare with anyone else.
No, that's awesome. So, another one. If you had a chance to either have Candace Parker or Brianna Stewart on one of your teams, who would you take on your team?
Candace or
Uh,
Diana?
Brianna Stewart. Yeah.
No, Brianna Stewart. I love Candace Parker. Candace.
Yeah. I'm biased towards Candace only because she's from the same state.
Candace played in Lebanon 2 years ago.
Okay.
She came to play the finals.
That's
She's
awesome.
exceptional.
So are you a TV show type of person, or you prefer movies?
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
All what I watch on TV is basketball, but I have some series that I watch from time to other. But I'm not a big fan of TVs and movies. I have here, and even here in Tunisia, I have all the basketball channels, NBA channels, EuroLeague channels, basketball channels. I have only sports channels, so I use TV for basketball, not more. I'm not a big fan of movies and TV shows, but I watch Netflix series from time to other, not more.
Okay. No,
So,
I get it. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Speaking about basketball. So, since you watch basketball all the time, what's one of your favorite teams to watch, to tune into, or just even like a rewatch,
My favorite team to watch in women's basketball.
or men's, either one.
And women's basketball, I told you, I'm a big fan of Atlanta Dream, and I love Fenerbahce, Turkish team. These are my favorite. I used to travel when I was in Lebanon. airplane between Lebanon and Turkey is 2 hours only. I used to travel to watch most of the games of Runner to last season. I watched several games for them. I love the way they play, and I love their professionalism, and I love the player that they have. So Fenerbahce and Atlanta Dreams.
Okay. Are you a chocolate chip cookie type of person or oatmeal raisin?
Chocolate. I love chocolate. Everything with chocolate, I prefer it.
No, that's outstanding. I love chocolate chip cookies, but I love oatmeal. I'm at the age in my life where I prefer oatmeal raisins over chocolate chip cookies.
I like them both. But another one we have for you is a favorite quote that you go by that you implement into coaching or just in the everyday life. What is like one quote from someone that you use?
One quote. I said to my players today, when you get fucked, your love will help you to put your clothes out. But after getting fucked, no one will help you to wear your clothes again. So whenever you want to take a decision on court, you should be smart and very careful of your decision because you are responsible of that. And after your decision, you are obliged to wear your clothes alone. You should wear your clothes alone when you finish. So this is life, and this is the concept of the life. And I do believe that if we respect the decision that we take on court, even if we did bad or if even if we didn't succeed in this decision, we will learn from it. But if we did our or if we took our decision stupidly, we'll never learn and we'll never win. Because in life you win or you learn. If you don't want to win and if you don't want to learn, there's a big problem.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good one for people to listen to, like listening in. Just a good life situation if it comes into them, and just not just being able to learn from the mistakes that they make and like the chances they take. So I like that what you're saying, and just what you said today, with everything you've given us and all the inspiration and knowledge that you've given Desmond and I today that we may not have known, and that people listening may not have known about playing basketball overseas, and just the way that you coach and have learned through out the game and just have translated that into your players. That's kind of awesome for us to be able to hear firsthand from you about that stuff.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, even. I enjoyed the discussion with you. I feel like I know you several years ago. It was a great discussion, and I'm looking forward to meet maybe live, not only through Zoom after this COVID. I want to wish you the best of luck, and I'm following your program and most of the episodes I watched it. You're doing a great job, exceptional job. You're trying to link people all around the world, link people overseas, sharing different cultures, different mentality. I enjoyed what you're doing. I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we will meet another time and we can make another things together.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you for that. Yeah.
yeah, definitely appreciate that.
Just one more thing before we head out and everything. Where can the people following you and the listeners and viewers? Where can they follow you and your team on social media or anything? Where can they find you at?
On social media, it's Coach Izzat, the Instagram page, Coach Izzat Izzat, and on Facebook the same name. And as for my team, is ESCB. The name is in French, Espoir Sportif du Cap-Bon. Here in Tunisia, French people they spoke French, so all the names are in French. ESCB. So this is the official page of the club on Facebook.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
We thank you for joining us And the people listening, you can follow us on Capturing the Game. You can find us on Instagram, Capturing the Game Pod. You can find us on Twitter on CTG_podcast. And then you can search us up on YouTube and Facebook under Capturing the Game Pod. Again, we'd like to thank you for joining us today
My pleasure.
in this conversation. And we do hope to meet outside of Zoom and eventually catch up and meet you in person once all this stuff passes over.
My pleasure.
Sure.